Jedan prekrasni tur na Ljubno. Trudja Perić je naslednji, ki se bomo že čez 10 minut približno posvetili tekmi, drugi zahvaljujem se vsem sponzorjem.
Good afternoon, good morning, and welcome back to Ljubno. You're here for the second day of World Cup action, part of the Viessmann FIS Ski Jumping World Cup. And exciting to say, the qualification just finished up, and although we were dealing with some challenging wind conditions in the quali, we see 40 athletes have qualified themselves for the first round. Yesterday was a very, very exciting competition. But let's hear from
you gained your first
this
point
star.
yesterday here in Ljubno. How do you feel?
I feel amazing. I think it was a really great show of my talent, and I hope that it can help me qualifying to the Olympics.
Your qualification jump was also good. What's your plan for your competition?
I hope I can match the results from yesterday or maybe doing better. I feel great today, so let's see.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
And there you heard it from her herself. That was Kira Kapustikova from Slovakia. So coming from not scoring World Cup points, she's qualified for the competition many times this year, but was unable to crack into that top 30 until yesterday with a career best, of course, 17th place. And as she stated, we are still in the Olympic qualifying period, 1 week to go. So Kira is going to need to do all that she can to improve her world ranking and see if she can grab that spot for Slovakia. Of course, in ski jumping, the field is limited, so your nation is not guaranteed a spot. So she will have to do everything that she can, not only today, but also next weekend. Of course, the star from yesterday and the winner of the qualification, see her on your screen now, that is none other than Nika Preutz. She has definitely put on a show and is doing it for her country here, and fans from all across Slovenia have driven to watch the competition today, and it's exciting to see the impact that she's having on the sport. We saw her dad and brother here yesterday cheering her on, and they had the opportunity to give her the awards for that first place finish. So that is something special. Now looking at the air temperature, minus 4.5 Celsius, so a little cooler than yesterday. It was a bit overcast yesterday, and we had a nice steady headwind, whereas in today's qualification there was a bit of tailwind. Of course, that worked in the favor of some athletes, and against other athletes we saw anything from gate number 19 to 21. So curious to see where we start. But for the U.S. fans, we're excited. Another day, all three women advanced into the advanced through the qualification round, with Annika Belschot in a very impressive 8th place in quali, Paige Jones 12th, and Sandra Strock 24th. So that is very promising and exciting to see what they're going to show us today. So we have some new athletes who qualified today. So that'll be a nice start to, here we go, we'll see it, the start list shortly. But that first is the World Cup standings. A few of those big names are not in attendance today. Nozomi, Abby, Anna Odinastrom, for example, all decided to leave out Ljubno and focus on the next few stops of the tour. Of course, a big segment going to be taking place in Asia, first in China, and then two World Cup stops in Japan. Speaking of China, we saw a big jump also in the qualification round from Ping Song, of course. She struggled a bit on the landing, but she is really, really shaping up to be in great form this season. And we heard from her yesterday, she's very excited to take that great level of jumping onto the home hill in order to represent her country at home. Sounds like we're going to hear from Miran.
We have the hill very nice prepared, but the wind is a bit variable and mostly from behind. So I think we will have some waiting maybe in between. I hope not.
Okay, thank you for info.
So there you heard it from Miran Tepic himself. He is the wind expert and obviously, as a Slovenian, has spent many years here in Ljubno. He said a little bit of tailwind out there and they're going to try to move the competition smoothly. But I will say part of the game is luck. We saw a lot of changes in wind, so sometimes you get lucky when you get to jump and which gate you are coming from. We just got the announcement we're going to be starting from gate 22, so that should be promising based on what we saw in qualification earlier today. We'll have to wait and see for the first few wind points to come in to see what we're dealing with. But exciting to see the fans. I saw some great imagery coming from the competition yesterday. I mean, just a sea of people. This is one of the smaller stops on the World Cup Tour at hill size 94. But there is no, look at all the people. That is absolutely fantastic. So 10 seconds to go. Beautiful scenery here in Ljubno, Slovenia. This will be the second day of World Cup action, part of the Viessmann FIS Ski Jumping World Cup. Seeing our last trial jumpers, and then first to go will be Chiara Kreuzer from Austria. So let's see if it's time. So that last minute beeping, it looks like we moved down to 21 instead of 22. So that is a bit of a change there. But we know that this athlete has not shown us her best yet this year. Let's see how it goes today here in Ljubno. On the hill, kicking it off, Chiara Kreuzer. She looked good off the takeoff, but again in the air, just not finding that connection with the skis. Of course, the tailwind does not help. Plus 10.7 points for wind compensation, so that is, that's still sizable tailwind, especially when you're dealing with a hill of this size. So you can tell she's not super stoked with that jump, but that will be the lead for now. Team Finland with a lot of athletes qualified today, so that'll be exciting. Let's see how they can deliver. Here comes the first Finn. This is Julia Aikia. And a solid jump for Julia, 19 years old, soaring over the green line. So that will be enough for the lead. We're seeing a distance of 80.5 meters. And even more challenging wind conditions, plus 13.8 points. The Finnish team using this opportunity, having a bit of a trade out with two of their Nordic Combined athletes, making some space on the team. Julia goes into the lead. And next up from Italy, qualified yesterday, but still looking for those World Cup points. Here comes Jessica Malsiner. Jessica with a solid telemark landing, but not much of a reaction from her coach, Harry Rodlauer. Harry's been on the World Cup circuit for many years. Was with the Austrian team for a long time. You can see a little crunch back and then trying to shoot forward for Jessica. So not the cleanest move. And that sees her into second place. All right, a new name up here in the qualified for the competition. Let's see what she can show us. Here comes the Swiss Rhea Kindlimann. A solid takeoff with some height and a nice telemark landing. Of course, the Swiss team being led this season by Sina Arnett, but still great to see the depth of the team starting to develop. We had a little bit of a gap there from Switzerland for a few years, but they've changed some things in their training, and Rhea, we're excited to have her in the World Cup today and into third place. All right, next to come, this is Karina Kozlova from the Ukraine. Aggressive takeoff and very effective jump for the young 16-year-old. That was a distance of 83 meters, longest jump we've seen today. So I think that could not have come at a better time. We're going to take a look at the wind points. So plus 7.9. So that is important. Solid telemark. So I think that her work here, she's delivered at when it matters, and hopefully that'll be enough to see her through to the final. But we'll have to wait and see. Puts her in second place now. There, Team USA, Paige Jones. We just saw Annika Belshaw on your screen. Finland in the lead, and another Finn on the hill. Here comes Usa Ture. Low, but trying to make the most of it. 18 years old. So the Finnish team definitely working on development back home. We're seeing a lot more depth from the team. For a while, it was only Julia Kikkonen and Jenny Rautinaho, but now this season we've seen some breakthrough performances from some new names. Yesterday, we saw Sofia Mattila with a great jump, unfortunate disqualification, so she was unable to hold on to that result. Next to come, this is the Austrian Hanna Wiegele. Decent jump, but also not getting that huge distance needed. I think we're going to need to see jumps around that K point in order to crack into the top 30. Despite the solid telemark there, it was a distance of 75.5 meters. And that puts Wiegele into third place. But look at that wind, plus 18.6. So that is the worst conditions anybody's had today, and that is part of what I was talking about with the game of luck. Oof, looking at those graphics, that is some strong tailwind. Yeah, that is tough. So as a reminder, top three now: Julia Aikia from Finland, Karina Kozlova from Ukraine, and Hanna Wiegele from Austria. Looks like we're waiting for the wind to calm down a little bit before sending the next athlete, but it doesn't really look to be calming down. We're seeing 4 meters per second of tailwind over the knoll. Especially when you're dealing with World Cup speeds in a small hill, it doesn't allow that much room for correction with using your flight. Because if you're just sucked into the ground, then yeah, not much you can say, not much you can work. on the second half. But the trick is powerful takeoff. Hit the timing on this hill because it's a quick radius, and you kind of, a lot of athletes find themselves late on this hill. So if you can get the timing right, get that effect, that at least gives you a little bit to play with, enough height to hopefully make it down to the bottom of the hill. Now we'll see if the wind gets into the corridor now. If you look at the graphic in the top left, you're seeing that red, which means it's not inside the corridor, so the light won't change to green. Thomas Diehart coaching the Austrian women's team, a Four Hills champion himself. But right now, Hanna Viegele is just going to have to wait and see what happens. The fans seem to be excited, whether they're cheering for Hanna or just in general getting warmed up for the day. We're not sure. So we hit the 60 seconds, and Diehart giving the signal for her to move off the bar. But look at the graphic now, that's crazy. It really has calmed down. Oh, and that was the reaction. We saw it was calmed down, and she didn't really get the chance to get off the bar. So hopefully she goes quickly and gets some calm conditions. Here she is from Austria, Megan Watzak. Good off the takeoff and a nice looking jump. There you can see the luck is part of the game, and being ready when it matters really is important. Distance of 83.5 meters. Longest jump we've seen in the second round so far. And you could see mentally she had to be really strong. She got off the bar, basically didn't have a chance to even regroup, back on the bar, and a quick cycle through the lights and puts her into second place. Coaches look relieved and she looks happy. Now this is a young athlete. She made her World Cup debut earlier this year, part of the 2 nights tour in Germany. Here she comes, Julina Kreibich. Julina trying to make the most of it. Decent jump, 78.5 meters. We saw her really shining in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, and that wasn't quite on the same level. Maybe it was part of that just, comfort of being at home versus now you really feel like this is the World Cup. Of course, there were a lot of fans that showed up for the 2 nights tour, but here it's definitely a different environment. Kreibich into 7th place for now. And next on the bar, this is the first of 3 Americans to start today in the World Cup competition. Here she comes, Sandra Sprach. Good looking takeoff and making her way down the hill. She was really strong in qualification with a 24th place. Yesterday we saw her good-looking trial round, also cracking into the top 30. So for Sandra, it's really a matter of getting things right at the right time. That looked to be not quite enough distance to get into the top 30, but we'll wait and see how that happens. Looking at her reaction, she's not super pleased with that. However, this is her first real season on the World Cup, and she's doing absolutely great. Sandra Sprach into 7th place. I talked about her yesterday, disqualified in the second round, but really, really strong. Here she comes from Finland, Sofia Mattila. And a good-looking jump with a solid telemark. You can see she's not happy with it, but it was way over the green line. Let's take a look at some of the wind compensation. So there you could see a nice, smooth jump. Tips lagged a little bit, but then she kind of continued that speed, and a really solid telemark. So 82 meters and plus 16.3 points for the wind compensation. Finland currently 1-2, and Sofia guaranteed qualified for the final round. Next up, this is Shiyu Zhou from China. We remember her for that really low upper body, very aggressive line. That, unfortunately, not the jump she's going to need today. Kind of falling onto her skis at the end of the takeoff, not giving it enough time to really build. And unfortunately down into 10th place, so the top two now qualified for the final. That's Finland. Megan Vatsak currently one out. All right, here we go. Next Chinese athlete to come. This is Lin Yao Wang. Ooh, nice takeoff, lot of height. Let's go. Great looking jump for the Chinese, and she nailed the landing today. Nice, 86 meters. By far the long jump. But look at this. She just hit the timing and got the effect really well, giving her that height. And a really nice jump. And into second place, 114.2 points, 4.1 behind Sofia Matila, and she's qualified. Next up from Germany, here comes Emily Tarazza. Also aggressive, little arm action in there. Solid landing, but I think that's going to be kind of that dangerous distance where you could be in or out. 80.5 meters. She will get the good enough style points. Let's see where that puts her. And into fourth place. So she is the final qualified athlete right now. So that is enough for that second round. And we're excited to see Emily in the final. And it's time for the first Slovenian athlete, and you can hear the crowd. Now, of course, Jerica on the bar, she's trying to remain focused, think about what she has to do, but jumping in front of a home crowd like this is something special. Here she is, Jerica Jerzenko. And a solid jump. Not a huge reaction from the coaches. Looked like she came out of the flight a little bit early. Let's take a look at the replay. This looked to be good. Skis nice and flat. Good surface area made with her body and her skis, but they're falling out a little bit early. Puts her into second place, so she has a few meters left in that, if you ask me, and we get a chance to see her again in the final round. Okay, we heard from her, if you tuned in early enough, we heard from her pre-game interview. She had a career best 17th place yesterday, first World Cup points of her career, and she's hoping to do the same again today. Here she comes from Slovakia, Kira Maria Kapustikova. Very confident and over that red line. So you can tell, I mean, she's 16 years old, letting her feet come a little bit under her, but here in her flight, she's really strong. So of course she knows what's on the line. She's working not only to get World Cup points, but to get that Olympic spot. Kira into fourth place. Looks like the tailwind is easing up a little bit. She had +8 points, so that's pretty good. Hopefully that's good news for the next athlete. She had a great day yesterday. This is Donna Vasilika-Toth. Nice jump for Donna. Also over the green line, distance of 81.5 meters. But what I said about the tailwind, completely wrong. Plus 18.4 points for wind compensation. So you can kind of always watch the athlete's skis, see if they feel a little, I'm going to call it dead, where they're just kind of hanging. We did see a little bit of that, but Donna will benefit from those compensation points. And it's enough for second, so that is an important step for the Romanian. They'll give her another chance in the next round. We're missing her teammate Martina Ambrosi, failed to qualify today, but this is Martina Zanitsar from Italy. We're seeing the wind moving all across the hill now. So this is where it gets a little confusing with the wind compensation, because a crosswind is not beneficial at all. But the crowd is getting pumped up about something. And here we go. The green light, and here comes Martina Zanitsar from Italy. Stable in the air, nice looking jump. In a distance of 82, but we saw the green line really fly down the hill. And that means there's probably less tailwind. Late on the timing, but here she really holds on to it well. So Zanitsar into 10th. Now 2 out from qualifying. The Ukrainian Karina Kozlova 1 out from qualification. So she could be lucky. She's going to be watching that result sheet very intently. China really strong here in Ljubno. Coach looking on. So she's keeping an eye on her coach's flag, but also the light, so the athletes have a view of this almost stoplight. When it's yellow, they can't go. Once it turns green, they have 10 seconds, and their coach will flag them. Yellow can go all the way up to 60 seconds, and we've seen them switch the light at 60 or at 59 before, so now it's really important to wait really to the last moment. Now for the Austrian, we saw her get off the bar and then right back on and then have a great jump, so hopefully that'll be the same for Bing Dong. But it looks like there's a little bit of pause. We're seeing some snow coming down. Usually a little bit of precipitation results in less wind. So if it's just a little bit of snow, that actually might be helpful. The only thing, if it's snowing and there are these long delays, unfortunately that means there's snow buildup in the track, which makes it a little bit slower and slightly sticky. So that's where the jury really needs to be actively working. There you're seeing Miran Tepesh. He's the controller of the light, so he's watching the wind carefully, trying to make sure that there are fair conditions. But again, it's an outdoor sport, so really we're doing the best we can here today. Light is red again, so that means off the bar for Bing Dong. But take a look at this beautiful aerial view. Look at all the fans gathered in Ljubno. I think we have basically all of the town is here, and half of the country has migrated to this little village in Slovenia. Beautiful scenery and a historic venue. I think this is the 15th or 16th year that they've held the competition. Of course, they were holding Continental Cups and now World Cups. But we're seeing that's almost 5 meters per second over the knoll, straight tailwind. So I think that they will decide to send a trial jumper. When the trial jumper goes, they get a read of the wind, but also keeping that track clear, which is very important. So fans young and old gathered here in Ljubno, and of course hoping to see a smiling Nika Prejec. That is definitely a goal. So we're not seeing red on the wind anymore, so hopefully that means we're going to have a chance to see some jumps. So this is the warming hut at the top of the hill. So from here, the athletes need to just walk outside, and then they're right at the bars. Let's hear from Miran. Unfortunately, unable to hear from him right now. Let's see if we can do a little radio swap. Here we go.
It was too strong wind from behind. This is why we waited now, and now we will continue.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit better, so let's go.
So Miran Tepish speaking with Chika Yoshida there, explaining that we were waiting based on the tailwind. Hopefully it's calmed down now. We had a trial jumper in between, so don't worry about that track being filled with snow. Now she's ready to go, and the light is already green. Here she comes from China, Bing Dong. Really solid jump for the Chinese athlete. Struggled on the landing a little bit, but solid distance, 84 meters, so matching the distance, second longest distance we've seen. And see here, she looks really comfortable, but then coming into land, pulling out, her legs falling under and then landing really in the back seat. That is tough. She's going to see some major deductions from the judges. But into sixth place nonetheless, and qualified for the final round. But the Slovenian fans have turned it up a notch, and that means one thing. They have a countryman, countrywoman on the bar now. Sten, their coaching in charge of the development team. Yuri Tepish, of course, the man behind the national team. So for some of these younger athletes getting a chance to jump in the World Cup, they still have their coach with them. And what a great opportunity for some of these young athletes. It's a first chance for their country to really get to know them, and you know, one or two good results can really shape the next few years. People get to know your name and really start to cheer from you. A lot of these women are from, you know, small villages, and ski jumping is a huge sport in Slovenia. But for now, we're going to have to wait for the wind to calm down a little bit. That might be the trend of the day today, but so far we've seen nearly 20 athletes, so we're halfway through the first round. Top 9 currently qualified. And there you can really see that Slovenian culture shining through. So here you can see on the left of your screen, that's the little walkway you take from the warming hut over. Then you do the suit control in that little box there, and then you move up into the gates. But back on the bar now. We're still at gate number 21, so that is the same starting position where we began the round. And here she has the green light from Slovenia, Taya Terbošek. Ooh. You could see how much she wanted it. Taya, unfortunately, I would say her age shining through a little bit. You know she's from here. You know she had some great performances. She was 5th in the trial round yesterday, but Taya, falling down to 12th place, unfortunately. So she's 2 out from qualifying. That was good news for Karina Koslova from Ukraine, who just managed to qualify. But let's see what the next athlete is going to say about that. Anna Holland from Germany. Nice jump for Anna. We saw her really break through, have a great competition yesterday. Best result we've seen from her this season. And, you know, in comparison, Taya, 16-year-old, Anna, 29 years old. She's been to the Olympics. She's been to World Championships. A lot more experience, and you can see that stability shining through. Louisa Gerlish up there on the coach's stand. And Anna looks a little bit cold, but great job for her, and plus 18.4 win compensation. So that stability I was talking about was really, really important. Here we go. Season's best result yesterday in the top 10. Let's see what she does today. Chi Lu. Coming down a bit early there. Holland, of course, only 82 meters, but she had some major wind compensation help. Let's see what this means for Chi. Chinese team really great in the air. They spent a lot of time training in the wind tunnel back home, but struggling a bit on the landing. I think there's work to be done there. Next to come is our one athlete from France today. Let's see what she can show us. This is Josephine Panier. Quick to the flight, but a nice solid telemark. So despite not having the distance, we're hoping that'll be enough to qualify her. Chi Lu had come in 12th place, so just qualified. Panier late on the timing, but much better telemark. So into 12th place, just ahead of Chi Lu, and qualified for the final round. We will see Josephine in the final. But here we go. We've seen a few Slovenians so far, and we know the crowd is definitely behind them. This is a young athlete who's really made a mark on the World Cup this year. There you can see moving from the development team. She's coached by Yuri Tepish, part of that national World Cup team this season. But she's still waiting for the wind. In comparison, Taya just barely having her first World Cups, whereas Maya on the bar now has been part of the World Cup this whole season right from the start in Lillehammer. And it looks like a private shuttle there for Nika Prelec. Obviously in the gold bib, so she's last to come. But on the hill now, here comes her teammate. This is Maja Kovacic. Aggressive angle. Ooh, but falling really down a little bit. Plus 19 points for wind compensation. So that is the worst wind we've had today, and that is really bad luck for the 19-year-old. You can see her legs kind of falling under. She did what she could with the telemark. And wow, those massive plus points really helped her out. Maja Kovacic into 8th place. So Klara Orichova on the bar now. We've seen ups and downs from her, and hoping she is trending up again. Let's see. Here she comes, Klara Orichova. Better with the right ski. And a solid jump for Klara Orichova. That is definitely a step in the right direction. She was a little shaken there in Germany a few weeks ago, having some trouble with that right ski. But there you can see, once she finds it, she feels good in the air. And that was a solid, solid performance from the Czech athlete. And plus 17.3 into 4th place. So definitely strong tailwind. You can see really these stable jumpers are able to deal with the conditions better. But now we're into the zone. These are very experienced World Cup athletes. She had a great day yesterday, and you can hear the crowd. They are absolutely cheering for her. The light is green, and the flags are ready. Here she comes from Slovenia, Katra Komar. Aggressive and the height. Carrying it down the hill. A great performance from the Slovenian. Distance of 83 meters. We'll have to look at the wind compensation. That has been playing a huge role in this competition. Let's see, keeping that balance forward and shooting out over her skis. Letting the jump build and a nice telemark. And Komar into 5th place for now. So Anna Holland from Germany still leads the charge ahead of Sofia Matila and Dana Vasilika Toth in 3rd right now. So that is great to see from the Romanian. But on the bar now, we are excited for this jump. She had a great trial round, so hopefully she knows what to do. She's had the chance to talk things through with her coach there. That's Trevor Edlund on the left. Annika has shown us very good individual jumps, and hopefully she can do that again now. Here she comes from Steamboat Springs, Colorado, Annika Belshaw. Nice jump over the green line. So solid effort for Belshaw. Little bobble on the landing, but look at this. Nice connection, very smooth. You can see her skis really flexing, so it feels like there's good air out there, but wait until you see these wind points. Plus 20.4. Belshaw with the worst conditions of the day into the lead, and a fist pump from Annika Belshaw. 3.5 points ahead of 2nd place right now, and that was definitely a great jump from Belshaw. For the US fans, stick around please, because Annika and Paige are jumping back to back again today. So next up, here comes her teammate, Paige Jones from the US. Nice jump. Paige also getting down the hill. Distance of 81.5 meters. A little late on the timing, but here she made that adjustment. Really effective flight position. You can see her hands in her skis, making the most of it. Let's see. Ooh, and quickly, you know, that's crazy. Only 0.5 meter between her and Belshaw, but Paige with slightly more favorable wind conditions, plus 11, and that puts her into 15th, but qualified for the final nonetheless, and Annika Belshaw in the top spot. The US and the Norwegians working closely together, so today this is the only Norwegian, and she will be under the watchful eye of the US head coach Trevor Edlund. So Ingvild Synnøve Midtskogen on the bar now. The Norwegians choosing to leave out this competition, but letting Ingvild get some more World Cup points, get some more experience, continue her progression. So we saw the difference between Belshaw and Jones. You know, the distance was hardly anything, 0.5 meter, but with the combination of the almost double wind compensation points that Annika got, that really helped keep her higher on the standings. The light is red though, so Ingvild is going to have to wait for a second in order to jump. She's up there just waiting for the chance. Right now she'll be looking down and the light will be red. Once it switches to yellow, she knows she can get out onto the bar. Top 3 for now: Annika Belshaw, Anna Holland, and Sofia Matila. USA, Germany, Finland. But look at that, that's crazy. In the top 6, we have 6 different nations. All right, here she comes from Norway, Ingvild Synnøve Midtskogen. Ingvild aggressive and a very good flyer, but you saw that green line really wandered far down into like almost the 90, 91 meter range. You can see moving, she moved back up and then totally attacked. And on a hill of this size, that does not work that well. 79.5 meters, and Ingvild, unfortunately, out of the running today. And that in chance moved in Martina Zanitsar from Italy. So 2 Swiss athletes today in the first round, which is exciting. And this athlete, of course, having led the team all season long. Let's see what she can do here today. So looking back at Mitskogen again, she only got plus 3.6 points for wind compensation, so hardly any help. And, you know, that really makes a big difference. Oof. But if you were to ask me where is the best spot to have the strongest tailwind, I would say nowhere, but especially around that 5.5 meters per second right over the knoll. That's not what you want. You can see the wind flag swirling all over the place. Fans are still in high spirits. Right now they're seeing Slovenia currently in 6th and 7th place with Katra Komar and Jerica Jazenko. Maja Kovacic in 11th. And the local hero Taya Terboshek currently 1 out from qualifying, so she still has a chance depending on how these next few jumps go. And from what we've seen, anything can still happen. Arnett is definitely happy that the jury is taking their time in letting her jump, because that 5.5 meters per second is not what she wants. I'm going to take a moment to reflect on that jump of Annika Belshaw. You know, it looked like she had, I don't know, from her body, how she was flying, looked really effective and really strong. And then when we looked at the wind compensation, plus 20.4, so worse wind conditions, but somehow it looks like it didn't phase her. That is what really marks the best, it sets the best apart. So Belshaw in 1st and Jones in 15th, so we'll definitely be seeing both of them in the final round. Martina Zanitsar in 19th, currently the last qualified athlete, and the athletes behind her just hoping for a chance. Oh, here, perfect. Let's enjoy this together. So look at the pressure under her skis here. No movement in the air. A lot of confidence in setting that telemark landing. Belshaw's dad, one of the judges. We see a lot of judges, part of the ski jumping family. Nicole Maurer as well, with a mom who's a judge. And Belshaw getting those judges' points, 48 points from the judges, and the great effort from the Steamboat local. We're going to see a trial jumper before moving on in the competition. If you look at the fans, you can tell the next jumper is not from Slovenia, but you will definitely notice when the next Slovenian comes, which will be Nika Vodan. So you know the crowd's going to go absolutely crazy for her, but that's in, I think, seven jumpers or so. Nika Vodan, really strong, 3rd place in the qualification round today. Qualification top 3 was Preutz, Eder, and Vodan. And Nika Vodan, that is, I know she absolutely thrives with this kind of energy. She loves pressure. She's a really good competitor. Lisa Eder, also a great competitor, having been comfortable on that 2nd place spot the last few competitions. But back to the top now. Let's focus our attention on the next athlete to come on the bar now and waiting for the flag. Light is green, and she has the flag. Here she comes from Switzerland, Sina Arnett. Nice direction, not a lot of height, but making the most of it. Distance of 82.5 meters, but only plus 8.6 plus points for the wind compensation. You can see very confident, aggressive line. Here she kind of brings her shoulders out and keeps pulling away from the hill. So a really strong jump from Arnett. And that puts her into 11th place for now. Belshaw continuing to lead the charge. So Finland we currently have in 3rd and 13th, but we're now on to one of the more veterans of the Finnish team. Jenny has been one of the strongest Finnish performers in the last few years. Had the chance to go ski flying and absolutely loves time in the air. Time in the air is not what we're talking about here in Ljubno, but let's see what she can do. Jenny Rautinaho. Oh. And I apologize if I may have jinxed her there. That was a jump of 72 meters for Jenny, which is definitely a bit of a surprise. Oh my. Okay, so then when I was looking at the takeoff, I thought that wasn't too bad, but look at this. It just, I'm not even gonna say anything. Wait till the scores come up. Into 2nd place, plus 40 points for wind compensation. That is twice of what Belshaw had. With a 72 meter jump, she goes into 2nd. This is not really how a World Cup should be going. That is absolutely incredible, and that is when it really matters to put in the telemark, even if you're not happy with your jump, because I mean, I don't think Jenny had any idea that that effort was going to put her into 2nd place right now with about 10 athletes to go. That was absolutely crazy. All right, so the show must go on. So onto the bar now is our next competitor. Martina Zanitsar from Italy, currently in 21st place. So she will be looking to join her teammate in the final round. Let's see how this goes. All right, here she comes. This is Annika Sief from Italy. Power off the takeoff, nice height and a great looking distance. That was a jump of 82.5. But we have to wait and look at the wind scores, because honestly, that's really been making such a huge difference today. And it goes to show that it really isn't quite the rhyme or reason. You know, the athletes before and after Jenny did not have anything comparable to that kind of tailwind. Annika Sief with plus 7 points, so with that great distance, it puts her down into 17. So we're seeing all kinds of jumps. Sief comfortably qualified for the final round. Annika Belshaw still leading the charge here. Now we're waiting for the next competitor. She had a really strong jump in the first round yesterday, and we hope to see her do that again today. Moving off the bar now. No, 5.8 meters right off the table. Yeah, so it's, I mean, I think it's tough to be the one in control of the light, and it's tough to be the ones having to jump. The coaches obviously don't have too much to say other than they have the 10-second window in which they can flag their athletes. But even from the time that they flag the athlete and the athlete is in the air, I mean, everything is changing here second by second. So usually the coaches have another coach, if they're lucky to have that kind of team support, they'll have another coach down keeping an eye on the wind in the central part of the flight. So they'll be connected over the radio and saying when when is good to send the athletes during that 10-second window. Obviously, some of the smaller teams don't have the luxury of having 2 coaches on the hill, so as you have the coaches on the hill, then ideally a physio, then you have a wax tech, so there's a lot of things that the best teams have, but on some of the smaller teams, you have to have an all-rounder, someone who is waxing and being the assistant and doing everything that there is to do part of the World Cup circuit. Top 3 for now: Annika Belshaw, Jenny Rautinaho, and Anna Holland. So we know that Juliana Seifert has her eyes on that final Olympic spot. Of course, the German team super strong this year with Agnes, Selina, who you're seeing now, and Katharina Schmidt, excuse me. That's, I feel like, a very strong team, and she's still looking to claim that final spot. But she's a strong competitor, and from what we saw yesterday, she is absolutely ready. The light is green, and here she comes from Germany, Juliana Seifert. Compression in the radius, but great jump for the German. And it felt like she was using the rhythm of the hill to her advantage. Wait till you watch this replay. A distance of 89 meters. So look, a little pre-move compression and then exploding like a spring from there. Finding her form really nicely in the air. Flying over that red line and with a telemark. Oh, she knows what's at stake now, and she absolutely delivered. 89 meters and into first place, 3.3 points ahead of Annika Belshaw. So that is her work done for the first round. Now this is always an athlete I love to watch. I'm excited to see what happens now. She has a chance to jump. This could be good. She's been really strong in the last few stops of the World Cup. We got to hear from her ahead of the competition yesterday, and she said she's happy with how things are going. Oh, look at that. That's, oh my gosh, that's headwind. So there's the air now moving strongly right up the hill. And Ping Song from China, she's a very light athlete, so she will most definitely take advantage of the headwind. We've seen a bit of playing around with the gate. So Ping Song, I feel like one of the athletes who would benefit from a little less speed. She's really strong in the air, but less so on the landing. So sometimes with a little less speed, she can fly just as far and get a better landing. But of course, at this point, it's too late for any of those games, and we don't know whether the headwind will continue or if it's just going to turn right back around to the tailwind. Fans are still waiting in suspense, ready for Nika Vodan, who will be the next to jump, but on the bar now and ready. All right, the light is green. Here she comes from China. This is Ping Song. She has the height, flying down the hill, and a decent landing for Ping. 1 meter short of Juliana, but a very, oh wow, great jump nonetheless. And this is, look at that low in run, that same smooth execution. The left ski a bit more under control. But wait till you see, remember, distance is one thing, style is one thing. That's what we can see, but the wind compensation is the third variable. And there it is, plus 17.3, so that is plenty. That helps Sung go into the lead, 5.1 points ahead of Seifert. Annika Belshaw from the US is still in third. Here we go, this is Austria's Julia Mühlbacher. Julia also powerful on the takeoff and flying down the hill. Oh, she's frustrated with the landing, but she has shown us some great work here in Ljubno. 91 meters. But the big difference here, only plus 2.3 points of wind compensation. So that is going to have a big impact on her standings. And there you see Mühlbacher with 2 meters of lead. So Mühlbacher is in 4th with 91 meters, and Rautinaho is in 5th with 72 meters. So that is a little crazy. We're seeing a jury decision to go down 1 gate. I think that'll be beneficial. We're on to really the final athletes. They are the strongest technically right now at this moment in the World Cup circuit. And depending if the wind stays to that light tailwind that we saw from Mühlbacher, that should be a good recipe for success. But take a look at that, to beat 96 meters. So remember, the hill record is, what is the hill record? Hill record is 97. So it was kind of a perfect storm that worked out for Peng Song, your current leader. She had great distance of 88 meters, but plus 17.3 points of wind compensation. That to beat distance really wandered down the hill. So you see the remaining athletes. We have 5 to go in this first round. Wodan, Schmidt, Freitag, Eder, Preutz. 2 from Slovenia, 2 from Germany, and 1 lone Austrian. And at the bottom in the top 3 now are Peng Song from China, Juliana Seifert from Germany, and Annika Belshaw from the United States. Now we're seeing some movement up there. I'm not sure what's going on. We were at 21 all the way through the round. Then they moved down 1 for Wodan, and now they've moved down another. So 2 down now, which will be helpful because remember that was at to beat 98 meters, which was relatively impossible. So with a little less speed and great technique, which we've seen from Wodan, she knows this hill well. She celebrated her World Cup debut here, and she will have the power of the fans behind her. They're ready for a show. Now it's all up to the athlete. Moving back onto the bar now, this is the Slovenian Nika Wodan. Waiting for the green light, Yuri Tepish definitely probably had a word with his father, who's Miran Tepish, who's the one in the booth controlling the wind. Miran, of course, very unbiased. He is employed by FIS, so he's doing his best to make a fair competition. But I'm sure on occasion there are some words exchanged. And the light has turned green, so that means it's showtime. Here she comes from Slovenia, Nika Wodan. Lot of height over the knoll, carrying it down, and a solid telemark. She is disappointed though, but remember, she just came from 2 gates lower. She'll have some guaranteed plus points from that. A little late on the timing. And there you can see not super comfortable, trying to make the most of it. But I think there wasn't a lot of wind there, so let's see what that does for her. 85 meters plus 8.1 points for the gate compensation and into 10th place. 4 athletes to go in the first round. The light is green, and here she comes, Katharina Schmidt from Germany. Strong takeoff and a lot of height. Wow, that was a great jump for Schmidt. She's one of those competitors that you can count on her regardless of what the conditions are. Super strong on the takeoff and really always with some good style marks from the judges. Of course, the one thing out of her control is the wind compensation, but that was a great effort for Kata Schmidt. And there we go into second place. So she's actually the first athlete, minus 3.8 for wind compensation. So a light headwind down there. So remember, they're at gate, oh, I was going to say they were at gate 19, but we're going down to 18, which I think will be good for Freitag. She's also a really powerful athlete on the takeoff. She generates a lot of that height on her own. So a little less speed. If the conditions stay like they were for Schmidt, this could be good. Peng Tong from China still in the lead though. 3 athletes to go in the first round. In Belshaw in 4th place. So if you look, these athletes have all made their way through the equipment control already, so they're not allowed to touch their suits, their boots, anything. No adjustments can be made. So Nika Preetz there getting a little blanket to try to keep warm. And what I said about headwind, I'm not seeing any of that out there, so I don't know where those minus 3.8 points came from for Schmidt. But this, yeah, now it could be tricky if the tailwind increases and the speed stays so low. That could be tough. So Vodon and Schmidt having gone from 19, whereas the rest of the field was at 21. Again, she's just checking her bindings. She can't really touch her equipment, but they're going to see a trial jumper go, make sure the track is clean. Of course, the Slovenian crowd still on the edges of their seat waiting for Nika Preetz, the local hero. DJ's doing his best to keep the spirits high here, and the fans seem to be happy. Of course, a bit colder today than it was yesterday. But lots of smiles. Young fans, old fans. All right, trial jumper is down at the bottom now, so the track is clear, the conditions are good, and we are ready for the next challenger. 3 to go in the first round. And here she comes on the hill now. This is Germany's Selina Freitag. Smooth transition, low flight curve, 80.5 meters. So that could be like kind of that combination that is really tough to deal with. Low speed. Could have even been a touch early, if you ask me. Freitag very confident and trying to do what she could with that jump. And there you see plus 20.8, that's wind and gate calculated together. So she had plus 7.8 points for wind compensation. Puts her into 5th place for now. So that is, yeah, I mean, this is a tough job today for Miran Tepic there. You can sense a bit of frustration. He's trying to make a fair fight of it. That beeping sound means a gate adjustment. So Freitag just now came from gate 18. I don't see them moving up a lot though. Maybe 1 gate. Yeah, so they're going to move up 1 gate. Again, Freitag has gotten unlucky a lot this year. My wish is that it turns out, you know, good for her when it really matters. For example, the Olympics or ski flying, and finally she can kind of bank all that bad luck and have things go in her direction. Bad luck meaning she had to jump from the lowest gate in really hard conditions. She's still in 5th though, so she's still in contention. 9.5 points off the lead. But we still have 2 athletes to go, and we know that these two have been jumping really, really well lately. Okay, so at gate 19, 2 down from most of the field, 1 up from Selina Freitag, and matching the gate for Katharina Schmidt and Nika Wodan. Guaranteed that plus 8.5 points for the wind compensation, but the arrows seem to be pointing down the hill. Lisa Ader still hunting for that first World Cup victory, individual World Cup victory. 60 seconds and off the bar. 2 athletes to go in the final round, so don't get distracted, don't lose focus now. Still really important jumps to come. Current leader is Ping Tsong from China, followed by Katha Schmidt from Germany, Juliana Seifert from Germany, Annika Belshaw in 4th right now, Selina Freitag in 5th, Julia Mulbacher 6th, Jenny Rautinaho with that 72-meter jump in 7th. And that is what they call mini Planitza, a chance for the youngsters to get their first feeling of ski jumping. And what a place to do it here in Ljubno. And this is such an important move. Bringing the ski jump to the kids, to the youth, to that next generation. Not necessarily about going far, not necessarily about landing, but getting your first feeling of skiing down the in-run on skis. And speaking of in-run and speaking of on skis, here we go back to the top of the hill now. 2 athletes to go in the first round. And here she comes, second to last to go. This is Lisa Ader from Austria. A lot of height. And flying down the hill, that is a great effort from the Austrian. Coming out of gate 19 and a distance of 87.5 meters. Plus 11 points of wind compensation. So I would say an average amount of tailwind. You can see coming out of her flight a little early. But that is a great effort. You can see the relief written all over the coaches' faces. Whew. That is the lead for Ada for now. 4.7 points ahead of Ping Tsong. And I mean, if you can't hear the fans from where you're sitting, then I'm sorry for you, because this is an atmosphere, this is a vibe. This is Ljubno and Nika Preutz. And Preutz keeping the door open. You can see the disappointment from the coaches. But again, we in the last few days have seen like top level Nika Preutz. And that was a little, you could see whenever she gets a little aggressive, the hips come forward. There she had to make those adjustments. That said, it might still be enough to contend for the top spots, but is not in the bag. Yesterday she had a huge lead after the first round, and today Preutz is in second place. So definitely still, I mean, within 3.1 points of the lead, so that is very manageable for Preutz. But it's going to be a thrilling second round, especially now we're going to see the top jumpers all hopefully with similar conditions. Lisa Ader from Austria hunting for that first ever World Cup win and will be taking us. She'll be the last to go in the final round. Annika Belshaw from the US in 6th place. Incredible jumping. And there, Kira in 18th, so that's important. A lot of Slovenians in there. Dana Vasilika Toth from Romania in a strong second jump position. Paige Jones, 26th. Ukraine in there, 27th. So all kinds of nations. Yulia Aikia from Finland, a new name in there, top 30. So, I mean, this Ljubno, you never know what you're going to get. And that's exactly what this first round showed us. There was all kinds of conditions. But here, take a moment to enjoy your top 3 after the first round. There you have your leader after round 1. I would say she also has a few meters left in that. Exciting to see what's going to happen there in this final round. We are set with a start time of 1:20 local time, so 11 minutes wherever you are in the world. And I'm not going to make any statements, but we are in, I think, for a historical second round. So if wherever you are, I would make sure you're back here in 10 minutes, ready to enjoy the second and final round in Ljubno, because we could be talking about history. So see you back here shortly. This has been Nina Lucy with you for the first round, and excited to round out the World Cup weekend in Ljubno with you shortly. See you back here soon.
krasne zime, malo piga, ampak bomo zdržali še tole finalno serijo. Pozdravljamo sam gospoda direktorja. Zdaj pa posebna glasbena želja za tistega, ki ne ve, kdaj je maturiral, ali je bilo 44 let nazaj ali 45, pozna samo en ansambl in to je to. Lahko zapojemo! Seveda lahko tudi se vi malo stisnete, malo zamigamo, ali pa samo dvignemo zastave, ker tole prepeva našo lepo Slovenijo. Še enkrat, jaz rečem I feel, vi Slovenija. I feel! Govorimo, I feel! Gor ne skače, mi Slovenci! Specijalna glasbena želja bila to, da ste ga po nekaj večjega.
Hello and welcome back to the hill. We are about to start the second and final round of the World Cup here in Ljubno, Slovenia. The top 30 have earned the opportunity to start in this final round. A few surprises in the first round, that's for sure. We're getting a look at one of them. That is Annika Belshaw, 6th place after the first round. Let's see if we get to hear from Miran Tepish now, see what's going on with the wind, and see where we're going to start the final round. All right, so the first athlete is on the bar now, and we are back up to gate 21. So let's see what she can do here. This is Martina Zanitsar. Martina a little late on the timing and still not getting quite the jump that she was looking for. But hey, she's qualified and she will be guaranteed a World Cup point. So 77.5 meters. Strong tailwind again, plus 17.4 points. So that is the end of the day in Ljubno for her. But that is also your current leader. Coming off of a top 10 performance yesterday and the best event she's had this season. Let's see where she can take things from 29th. The light is green, and here she comes, Qi Liu from China. Effective takeoff and a nice looking jump. That was more like it. 81.5 in the first round, 82.5. Similar wind compensation, plus 14.2 for her. But that will be the lead for now. Of course, we're dealing with a lot of changes in the wind today. But still, top 10 yesterday, that means she's a big contender. So curious to see how the next few athletes can handle that challenge. Here she comes from France, Josephine Panier. Better timing, nice telemark, so I think that is a very decent effort by Panier. Looking at plus 20.6 points for wind compensation. Better timing. You can see really looking for that extension. Look at her hands. Trying to make the most of the flight. She's worked a lot on the telemarks. And Panier with that plus 20.6 into second place. 3.8 points behind your current leader. Now, big day for this young athlete. Oh, the low number 17, so first World Cup points of the season. From Ukraine, here comes 16-year-old Karina Koslova. Confident and aggressive, but not quite enough for those top spots. Again, we saw really a great effort from Qi Liu and Panier. But it's great to see at such a young age, not being afraid to really risk it all to try to have another great jump instead of trying to play it safe. Karina into 4th place. Similar challenging conditions, plus 20.8 win points. 2 Americans now in the final round, coming off of a career best 2 competitions in a row. Let's see what she can do now. This is USA's Paige Jones. Strong takeoff, but still not able to really get down there. We're going to wait for those win points. Paige loves the challenge of this hill. A lot of people struggle with it, but she said she was really looking forward to it already at the beginning of the year. Career best yesterday and into 5th place today, but still a good day's work for the American. Martina Zanitsar from Italy currently in 3rd, 2 spots up from the first round. And here comes her teammate on the bar now and ready. Here she comes from Italy, Annika Sieff. Good looking jump for CF. Distance of 76.5 meters, but it looked like a good takeoff. So again, waiting on the wind points. The thing with tailwind is you know you need to jump like it's normal, but it's really intimidating, noting you're going to be jumping into the feeling of nothing. Plus 27.1 points. So CF goes into the lead, 0.4 ahead of Chi Lu. And another athlete ready for first World Cup points this season. Here comes the young 18-year-old from Austria, Megan Watzak. Solid in the air and a great-looking jump, 76.5 meters. You can feel the frustration there. 83.5 in the first round, so a bit shorter, but she was dealing with much more challenging conditions on that one. Plus 21.7 points. And hey, it's not the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. Into 4th place, so a best finish for the season. And Annika CF found a reason to laugh down there in the finish. All right, next up from Germany, Emily Tarazza. Aggressive, feet kind of sliding under in the second half. Again, tough conditions, plus 22.8 points. So that is the most challenging, second most challenging we've seen in the second round. That should put her somewhere in the middle of the pack so far. And Emily Tarazza into 5th place. All right, here we go. This is a historic moment for this athlete. First time in the second round here, 19 years old from Finland. Waiting for the flag, and here she comes on the hill now. Julia Aikia. Ooh. No tips in the first part, and she managed to hang on to that. .75 meters. Watch this part. Just aggressive, but both her skis hanging right off the end. She held on to it and made the most of it, getting plus 23.4 points for wind compensation. And puts her into 5th place, but still a big day for the young Finn. And the crowd is ready. A Slovenian is on the bar now. Oh, we're actually moving up one gate, so that's I would say bad luck for the first 9 athletes, as they were the lowest ranked. So good news for Maya, who's on the bar now. She gets an extra gate of speed. And let's see if it pays off. Here she comes from Slovenia, Maja Kovacic. Good looking jump. And down near that red line, the crowd is going crazy. 82.5 meters. Matching the long jump that we saw from Chi Lu. So she's going to get a few points of deduction for that extra speed in combination with the plus 13.8 points she got for the wind compensation. Coach Yuri Tepish seems satisfied. A little slippery out there in the outrun. But that's enough for the lead, so that is a good day at the office for Maja Kovacic in first place. The crowd is still going crazy, but let's see what the next athlete can do. From Switzerland, Sina Arnett. Nice jump for Sina. 2 strong jumps today. That was important. 82.5 meters for Arnett. Plus 13.6 points of wind compensation. And it is enough for the lead. 0.9 ahead of Maja Kovacic. Great result for the Swiss athlete. Now I think this is a pretty good combination. A little lighter tailwind, a little extra speed, and that's all we can ask for. And there is our current leader, Switzerland's own Sina Arnett. Next athlete, strong in the first round, higher up in the rankings than usual. Let's see what she can do now. Bing Dong. Effective takeoff and over the green line. Decent landing. So she got much better style marks on that jump. 46 points from the judges. Distance of 80 meters. And plus 28.8 points of wind compensation. And look at how the team spirit on the Chinese team is really great. You can hear them wherever you go. And Bing Dong, current leader, but this is important. She told us before she is looking for an Olympic spot. She had her first World Cup points yesterday with a 17th place. Let's see what she can do today. Kira Maria Kapustikova. Good height and a nice looking jump. A little shorter, so we're gonna have to wait for the wind compensation to be calculated in. Let's see, maybe not as fluid as we saw yesterday. Some small adjustments having to be made, but really important to have 2 days in the top 30. Puts her into 5th place for now. So I think that'll keep her in top 22 or so. And there's your current leader, Bing Dong from China. So China currently 1st and 6th, knowing we have Ping Song in 3rd place after the first round. So we can see the depth of the Chinese team. Really, competition by competition, continuing to up their game, especially as they look towards the home World Cup. Waiting for the green light, so she's keeping an eye on her coach's flag, and the light has turned green, so now we are ready to go. And here she comes from China, Lingyao Wang. Strong takeoff again, a lot of height, carrying it down the hill, and a very solid jump for the Chinese athlete. We did, however, see that green line quite far down the hill. That signifies perhaps some better conditions out there in the air. Ling Yao, having struggled with the telemark the last few comps, puts her into 4th place. So China currently 1st, 3rd, and 4th. Qi Lu up 10 spots. We just saw her on the screen. Up 10 spots from the first round. Next Slovenian to come. The crowd is getting pumped up again. Conditions seem to be decent. Little coach switch up here. New coach with the flag. The light is green. The crowd can finally get what they've been waiting for. Here she comes from Slovenia, Jerica Jezenko. And a nice jump down close to that red line. And a very, very good effort from the young Slovenian, 20 years old, in a distance of 83 meters. We saw the green line pretty far down the hill, but that's enough for second place, and the whole squad is out there to cheer for them. Yeritsa into second, Bing Dong from China still in the lead. And a big congratulations from her teammate. From one Slovenian to another, here comes the next challenger, Katra Komar. Strong and aggressive, and a good jump for Katra, getting close to that green line, that to beat distance of 80 meters. We're seeing plus 17.5 points for wind compensation. Remember, some of these past athletes are coming from 22, so they have that automatic reduction from the extra speed. Ski took too flat. That's disappointing. Martina Sanitsar with a disqualification. All right. But she came ready to fight for a podium and is a little bit further back than she wanted to be after the first jump. She's a contender and she's been hunting for a podium. We would be thrilled to see her up there. She was in third place in the qualification round this morning. Trying to stay calm, but you can see that she's sensing the energy from down below. She hears the crowd, she feels the crowd, and she is ready to go, but I think she's going to have to wait. All right, 60 seconds off the bar now. The young teammates ready to cheer her on. Nika Vodon somehow went from being one of the youngsters on the team to now leading the charge. But maybe it was just a chance to get the crowd going again. Top left of your screen, you can take a look at the current standings. And back on the bar now is the Slovenian. So she has that big team waiting for her down there at the bottom. Slovenia, the host of the World Cup, able to fill their quota. But here comes the next challenger from Slovenia, Nika Vodon. A lot of height, strong jump, and there we go. That is more like it. 86.5 meters for Vodon. Plus 14.8 points of wind compensation. Still a little not as fluid as we've seen on her best jumps, and coming out a little early for the telemark. Bing Dong, nothing to say but congratulations. There is your current leader, and a big moment for the Slovenian. Saying thank you to the camera, Nika Vodon. Now, she's much higher in the standings than we expected to see, jumping right after Nika Vodon. She knows that that was definitely a mark to beat. Vodon, a very established name in the ski jumping world. On the bar still, that is Klara Orichova waiting for the green. Ooh, and there, at 56 seconds, we move to green. So that's where it's really important to stay focused through that entire cycle. Here she comes, Klara Orichova. And another good jump for Clara. That is back on track. 83 meters, probably not enough to contend for the lead, but still, I'm just making sure she's getting more comfortable again. That right ski coming up, and then once she's sure that her skis are with her, continuing on. Coach not entirely satisfied. Ulrichova falling down a few places. But we're seeing Vodon, Bing Dong, Yaritsa Yazenko top 3 for now. There's another athlete a little higher in the rankings than maybe we expected. Let's see what she can do in the final round. That's the flag, and on the hill from Romania, Daniela Vasilica Tot. A lot of height, looked to be a better, coming out a little early. That seemed like a better jump for Donna. She's a very slight athlete, so she has very short skis. Kind of has to make everything work together. Pretty tight suit. But hey, that's enough for 3rd place, so that is a big day for the Romanian. That is an important accomplishment for her. Vodon, of course, showing a little bit of disappointment. She wishes she hadn't jumped so early, but she is in the lead nonetheless. Now, she made those changes from yesterday. Made sure everything was good to go for today's competition. Here she comes, Sofia Matila. Coming down at 80 meters plus 18.5 points for wind compensation. So yeah, definitely some strong tailwind to deal with, but she is doing her best, and that will be, I believe, a career best finish for her. In a 5th place, disappointed to drop back, but still, good day here in Ljubno. She had a good day yesterday, and we're excited to see what she can do for us today. Strong takeoff, powerful athlete. Here she comes, Anna Holland. Gaining confidence in a good-looking jump for Anna. Distance of 80 meters. Solid style marks from the judges. So we'll probably see her fall back a couple spots. Puts her into 5th place for now. Still a good effort for the German. So we just saw Sofia Matila, one of the younger athletes, and here comes one of the more experienced Finnish jumpers. This is Jenny Rautinaho. Stable in the air and great distance for Jenny. Nice job for her. Remember her, she had that 72 meters in the first round plus 40 points of wind compensation. So now dealing with more reasonable conditions. That was a much better jumper, more what we're accustomed to from Jenny. Coaches knew what they were dealing with there. 85 meters and into 1st place. What a day here in Ljubno it's been for Jenny Rautinaho. All right, we're moving right along and we're getting close. I believe we're into the top 10 already. So wind compensation, we're still looking at, basically we're seeing minus 15 the average, or plus 15. So tailwind still out there, but let's see what she can do. Julia Mulbacher. A lot of height over the knoll. Getting a little unsteady in the air. But Mulbacher seems like her takeoffs are getting better and better every weekend. Look at that power in that connection. Here she gets a little off balance. So she's going to see some deductions from the judges. And that puts her into 5th place for now. Jenny Rautinaho from Finland still in the lead. All right, so now we're moving back down to 21, which is where we started. So the additional points that you're going to see are strictly the wind compensation points. But if you have a chance, check out the crowd. The crowd is here. They are ready. They are excited. And we're getting into the zone where we're going to start looking at a podium. Okay. She's a little off the podium after the first round, but she's going to be looking for a big second round jump. Remember, a little unlucky in the first round, having to deal with that low start gate. Now she's from a much higher one, now set at 22. Louisa Gerlish there on the left of your screen, coming back from injury, so she's here helping out Heinz Kutin. Great to see her back on the hill in some capacity. Here she comes from Germany, Selina Freitag. Whoa, more speed. Oh no. You can see the frustration from Heinz. Oh man. I don't even know what that was going on. Selina, I feel like, is one of the most stable, reliable jumpers, and that was really something weird. Maybe she was hit with a gust of wind. She also doesn't know. She's very frustrated into 13th place. Now hopefully that didn't do anything to shake her nerves, because now we are ready for the last American in the second round. She's looking for a career best. What's she going to show us today? Annika Belshaw, another great takeoff and a nice flight over that green line. Is it going to be a career best? Oh, we're going to have to wait for the points. Judges' scores are coming in 79.5. In distance, 21 plus points for wind compensation. But look at that. That is signature Belshaw right there. Coming out a little early, trying to get that telemark, so she'll see a few points of deductions from the judges. But into 3rd place, that is a career best. And a big smile for Annika Belshaw with the best result Team USA has seen this season. Whoa. Currently top 3, we have Jenny Rautinaho, Nika Vodan, and Annika Belshaw. All right, here we go. Next challenger. Here she comes, looking for that Olympic spot, Juliana Seifert. Strong jump, but not quite the distance she had on the first round. 89 meters in the first round. That was a bit shorter at 77. Could be good news for Belshaw. Plus 16.1 points of wind compensation for Juliana. Oof, the Germans are frustrated. Now let's hope it doesn't rub off. There's still one German up there to go. Oof, too bad. Too bad. So Jenny's still enjoying the leader's box. She's happy about that. And we have 4 to come at the top. So Jenny guaranteed a top 5 finish today. That is pretty awesome. But one German left. Let's hope she can reverse the trend we saw from Team Germany in the second round. Okay, here she goes. We have 4 athletes to come now to beat 79.5 meters. Can she do it? Here comes Germany's Katharina Schmidt. Strong, stable, and way over that K point. That is redemption for the German team. After watching her teammates struggle, she stood up to the challenge. 89.5 meters for Katharina Schmidt. Whew, and that is definitely an attack on the podium. 3 athletes to go, but look at what that means to her. She knows in the toughest conditions we've seen this season, she delivered. Kata Schmidt in the first place, and a big hello to the fans. Whew. Next athlete, she celebrated the first ever podium for Team China in the sport of ski jumping. Let's see what she can do in third after the first round. Ping Song. Come on. We were all cheering for her, hoping that she would land back on the podium again today. Distance of 79 meters, but plus 25.3 points of wind compensation. Schmidt, on the other hand, had only plus 4.7 points. So these are jump to jump. It seems to be changing like crazy. And Song into second place. So currently 1 off of the podium with 2 to come. Kata Schmidt guaranteed third place at worst. She is very, very happy with that. And her teammates being a good sport, that's also important to see. I know Freitag very disappointed after that jump. The crowd is absolutely on fire. They are cheering for her. They came to watch this jump. Nika Preutz flying away from the hill. What a beautiful performance on the home hill of Ljubno in front of the crowd. 92 meters. Still not the smoothest jump we've seen from her. You could see she's feeling the pressure. She knows that she wants to deliver in front of the crowd. And they're happy with the top spot, but she knows there's still one athlete who can challenge her for the win today, still at the top of the hill. So Preutz with 18.2 points ahead of Schmidt. So we know Eder either needs to jump over that green line or anything close to that will be enough for the silver medal today. But it all comes down to this jump. Whew. And here we go. This is the jump that matters. The leader after the first round. Here she comes, Lisa Eder from Austria, flying and with a telemark. She knows she did the best she could, and hopefully we'll have to wait and see what happens with the points. 90.5. Very, very good jump for Eder. And she had that pressure of being the last to jump, knowing that she had the win to give away. Now, it's only time to wait and look at the points. Points are coming in. Will it be enough? Oh! And second place by 1 point. Nika Preutz with another victory at home, and Lisa Eder still gonna have to wait another day to see her name on the top of the podium. But what an exciting competition. Preutz with another victory in Ljubno. So our top three today, Nika Preutz, Lisa Eder, and Katharina Schmid. What a day it's been here in Ljubno, and we are excited to be finishing the World Cup weekend in Slovenia. I mean, this was a challenging one, that's for certain. Yesterday we saw some very fair conditions, but look at that. Annika Belshaw, career best 7th place, and if that's not a ticket to the Olympic Games, I don't know what is. What a day for the American. Great jumping. Anna Holland, Jirica Yuzenko, Sofia Matila. I think those are all career bests this season. Jones with the 29th, also going to be happy with that. Kira Kapustikova, 24th today. Yulia Aikia, first World Cup points. So yeah, lot of great action from Ljubno. And that, of course, is your winning jump there from Nika Preutz. What a day it's been here in Ljubno, and look at the crowd. It's when we see these big names that can really change the sport. Nika Preutz, of course, the legacy of the family ski jumping tradition, but she has been paving the way herself with the gold bib, now top, the number one in the world right now, winner of the 2 nights tour and leading the overall. She's definitely going to be having her eyes on another crystal globe. That said, we know Nozomi Maruyama she skipped this competition, currently ranked 2nd, and she'll be looking to reclaim the top spot. Let's see if we're going to hear from our athletes. And no, we are going into our unofficial prize giving ceremony. In 3rd place today, Katharina Schmid from Germany. And in 2nd place again today, that is Austria's Lisa Eder. And today's champion, again, 2 days in a row, that is Nika Preutz from Slovenia. Now, these are some real emotions we're seeing from Preutz. We know what it means for her to be competing in front of her fans. Although she's rather stoic, I know it was a very emotional day at the hill today. She wanted the victory, and of course so did Eder, looking for that first career win on the World Cup. It's only a matter of time. The level these women are showing us every single competition is incredible. And we know we still have one World Cup weekend ahead of the end of the Olympic qualifying period. Now enjoy another view of your winner from today, Nika Preutz.
Hard conditions today on the hill, but you still keep fighting.
Oh yes, conditions were tough, and I was also fighting with my jumps, and I was trying to do my best. Didn't do my best, but I'm still very, very satisfied because these jumps are really strong.
You have many fans here. What would you say to them?
I'm very thankful for everyone who came here to Ljubno and made this beautiful atmosphere.
Congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to hear from Špela and Nika there, two very big Slovenian names in the sport of ski jumping. And Nika saying she didn't have quite her best jumps, but the women are putting up a fight, and that win today did not come easy. Kata Schmidt with a great performance, moving herself up onto the podium with that jump there in the second round. Lisa Ader last to go in the second round, and she knew it was her victory to lose. She put up a great battle here with the second jump. A lot of height, signature Ader, and getting that telemark in there. And I mean, today, the difference between first and second was 1 point. And what we saw in variable wind conditions, that could have gone either way. But Preuss, of course, doing her best to perform in front of the home crowd here in Ljubno, and doing a great job. So enjoy some replays of these jumps, and know that we are going to stick around for the official prize giving ceremony. We will hear the Slovenian national anthem once again, pending equipment control, of course. And then for the sports fans, I look forward to catching you back here next Friday and Saturday for the World Cup in China. Shangjiakou, I'll be with you again, so looking forward to that. Nika Preuss, of course, gaining another 100 points on second place's Nozomi Maruyama in the World Cup overall. Ader continuing the march forward, and we'll have to wait for China to see Abby and Anna back on the start list. Ping Tong, an incredible 12th place overall right now, will be looking to bring those performances to the homeland. Belshaw and Jones continuing to climb forward. Josie Johnson skipped this weekend, 31st overall. We look forward to seeing her back on the hill soon. Here you're seeing next World Cup stop in Shangjiakou, China for the women, and then moving on to 2 weeks in Japan. So this is a very intense period leading up to the games, and of course the Olympic qualification ending January 18th. So stick around for the official podium ceremony that will take place in the landing area very shortly, but in the meanwhile, just take a look at all of the fans who showed up today to cheer for the women. What a day it's been, and thank you for being here alongside me, Nina Lucy.
Viessmann, direktor Smučarske zveze Slovenije. Za tretje mesto pa gospod Alojz Murko, predsednik kluba SSK Ljubno BTC in pa gospod Stanko Richter, direktor podjetja Richter.
So again, we're just sticking around for the official prize giving ceremony. You can see the Slovenian flags are all flying. The athletes are going through equipment control, making sure everything is all set. We did see one disqualification today, and again, that was for the ski tip shape from Martina Zanicar, which was very unfortunate. We've seen that a few times this season already. From Slatnar skis. Slatnar, of course, trying to be innovative in the design, but there are still regulations held up by FIS, and I would recommend the athletes make sure their skis are conforming, as it's a real shame. So again, thank you for sticking around and waiting for the podium ceremony. We can see the media all gathered there behind the backdrop. And I'm seeing some shapes in the exit gate, which means we are close to being ready. and here we go. It is time for the official prize giving ceremony.
Dame in gospodje, uradna je razglasitev FIS svetovnega pokala v smučarskih skokih za dekleta Ljubno 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony for the Viessmann Ski Jumping World Cup Ljubno 2026. Please welcome the best athletes. Tretje mesto za Nemčijo. Third place representing Germany. Dritte Platz aus Deutschland. Katharina Schmid.
And a huge congratulations to today's podium here in Ljubno, Slovenia, part of the Viessmann FIS Ski Jumping World Cup. In third place today, Germany's very own Katharina Schmid.
Second place representing Austria. Zweiter Platz für Österreich. Lisa Eder.
And in second place today from Austria, Lisa Eder.
And the first place and the winner, representing Slovenia. Prvo mesto in velika zmagovalka za Slovenijo. Nika
And of course, today's champion from Slovenia in Ljubno, Nika Prejoc.
Podeljevalca za prvo mesto, glavni izvršni direktor BTC, magister Damjan Kralj. Župan občine Ljubno v Sloveniji, gospod Franjo Naraločnik. The prizes and the awards will be presented by Mr. Damjan Kralj, Chief Executive Officer of BTC, accompanied by Mayor of Municipality of Ljubno, Mr. Franjo Naraločnik. Priznanja za drugo mesto podeljujeta predsednik organizacijskega komiteja Ljubno, gospod Rajko Pitar, in pa direktor Smučarske zveze Slovenije, gospod Uroš Supan. The prizes and the cups and the flowers are presented and handed over by the president of organizing committee Ljubno, Mr. Rajko Pitar, and the director of Ski Association of Slovenia, Mr. Uroš Supan. Priznanja za tretje mesto, predsednik kluba SSK Ljubno BTC, gospod Alojz Murko, in pa direktor podjetja Richter, gospod Stanko Richter. Ladies and gentlemen, the prizes, the cups and the flowers are presented and handed over by Mr. Alojz Murko, president of SSK Ljubno BTC, accompanied by Mr. Stanko Richter, director of Richter.
And the athletes are pleased to celebrate with the beautiful flowers and trophies today. And now it's time for the national anthem of Slovenia. A huge congratulations to today's podium and today's competitors. What a World Cup weekend it has been here in Ljubno. Now, all I can say is thank you for joining me. This has been Nina Lucy with you here today, and especially thrilled to celebrate the 7th place finish for Annika Belshaw from the United States. What a time it's been in Ljubno, but for now I am signing off and look forward to catching you at the next stop of the World Cup Tour that will be in Zhangjiakou, China next Friday and Saturday. For the North American fans, you'll be catching me in the very early hours of the morning, so hope you can stay up late because I'm sure it's going to be a great show. Again, thanks for joining me, and see you back on the hill next time.
Še enkrat torej ekipa Avstrije, no, Team Avstrija, no in dajmo zdaj Ljubno še zadnjič, letos v